When you think about the future of the world and you think about these incredible technologies scaling upwards and exponentially increasing in their capability, what do you see?
What if I told you Muslims actually built AI, artificial intelligence, over 1,000 years ago? Okay, not the robots and apps we see today, but something very close in concept. Let me explain. AI, at its core, is about collecting information, organizing it, and using it to solve problems or answer questions. That's what AI does today, and that's exactly what Muslims were doing centuries ago. Their AI project was called Bayt al-Hikma, the House of Wisdom. To understand how amazing this was, let's rewind. Around the 8th century, while Europe was stuck in the Dark Ages, where much of classical knowledge was forgotten and the church often restricted free thought, Islam was bringing light. The Quran itself repeatedly calls believers to reflect, question, and learn. This passion for learning kickstarted what we call now the Golden Age of Islam. For nearly 600 years, Muslim lands became the center of science, medicine, mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, literature, and more. Scholars didn't just preserve old knowledge, they expanded it. They tested and verified it. They contributed new knowledge and took it so much further and created new discoveries that shape the modern world. At the heart of this golden age was Bayt al-Hikma in Baghdad, founded by the Abbasid caliphs. It wasn't just a library. It was a massive research hub, translation center, and university all in one. Caliphs like Harun al-Rashid and al-Ma'mun invested heavily in gathering knowledge. They sent scholars far and wide to Byzantium, India, Persia, even China to collect books. Everything was translated into Arabic, Greek philosophy, Indian mathematics, Persian medicine, Chinese inventions. Here worked legends like al-Khwarizmi, the father of algebra and algorithm. And yes, our word algorithm comes from his name, and many, many more scholars. The House of Wisdom became the Google of the medieval world, where information was stored, expanded, and shared. But greatness does not last forever. In 1258, when the Mongols invaded Baghdad, they destroyed Bayt al-Hikma. Countless priceless books and manuscripts, works of science, medicine, and philosophy were thrown into the Tigris River. The tragedy was so immense that historians wrote the river ran red with blood and black with ink. It was one of the greatest intellectual losses in human history. Yet, even though the House of Wisdom was gone, its impact had already spread across the Muslim world and beyond into Europe, planting seeds that would later fuel the Renaissance. But Baghdad wasn't alone. In Muslim Spain, the Library of Cordoba rivaled it with hundreds of thousands, some say even up to millions of books. At a time when most of Europe had only tiny libraries and a few dozen texts, Cordoba became a beacon of learning. Muslims, Christians, and Jews all benefited from this atmosphere of knowledge. Of course, libraries existed before Islam. The Library of Alexandria in Egypt dreamed of collecting every book in the world but was tragically destroyed. The Library of Ashurbanipal in Mesopotamia preserved thousands of clay tablets with law, history, and myth. Nalanda University in India hosted thousands of students and monks, becoming a great Buddhist learning center. These were great efforts, but most of them were limited to their own culture, contained selective knowledge, and was not versatile, let alone contained much error than a process of research and discovery. Muslims changed everything. They didn't just collect from their own people, they gathered wisdom from every culture. Greek, Persian, Indian, Chinese, it didn't matter. Knowledge was universal, and Islam encouraged its pursuit. This inclusiveness is why Muslim libraries were different from the rest. Just like today's AI trains on massive datasets, Muslims built a dataset of human civilization, and they used it to push humanity forward. O mankind, we created you from a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, so that you may know one another. Verily, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and aware. This verse erased racism, nationalism, and elitism, showing that knowledge and virtue matter more than race or tribe. That's why Muslims sought wisdom from every people everywhere. So when we talk about AI today, collecting and using data to solve problems, remember, Muslims were building their version of it 1,000 years ago.
Like, share, and subscribe to Truth Shall Prevail.